Do you have any questions about anything?
No.
Anybody? You good?
Mm.
All right, so we'll go over the blessing from last time, so we can listen to it and follow along. What? All right, I'm not sure why it froze. Okay. Okay, let me try again. All right. And let me know if you can hear it. I think sometimes my computer is kind of slow. It took me about, I don't know, 5 minutes a day to actually get it all started. Maybe not.
Uh-huh.
Okay. We'll try one more time. And if it doesn't work, okay, I do apologize. Let me try one more time and see if that works. Technology. Okay, now it's working. Okay. All right.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Hanukkah.
Okay, so the word ner, let me go back. The word ner means candle, ner. And you hear it also for the blessing for Shabbat, lehadlik, to light, ner shel Shabbat. It's the same type of blessing, and the only thing that ends is it's the ending. So we always light candles, right? We light candles on Shabbat, right? We light candles on Hanukkah, but we also light candles on holidays. So for the holiday, it will say Yom Tov, which means good day, which is a holiday, Yom Tov. So the ending will just change, but you just need to remember Lahadlik Ner Shel Hanukkah. Now, when we look at a blessing, Asher Kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu, some blessings only have the first 6 words. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. And then we have blessings that have this addition. Asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu, which means who had sanctified us or made us holy with his commandments and commanded us. That's really what it means. Okay. And now let's look at the second blessing of Hanukkah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asa nisim la'avoteinu ve'imoteinu bayamim hahem ba'azman hazeh.
Okay, so do you remember what we talked about la'avoteinu ve'imoteinu?
Yeah, I think protection. Not sure.
So Avotenu means our fathers, and Imotenu means our mothers. So the original blessing only has Avotenu, which is our fathers. And now we recognize also the mothers, okay? So we added in, I guess, I don't know exactly at what point, but we added recently Ve'imotenu. So probably if you look at your Siddur or maybe some blessings, you will only see La'avotenu and not Ve'imotenu. So keep that in mind, that it depends where you are. You know, it just depends how, so it is, I guess, a philosophy thing or not. So some people want to continue with the Orthodox thinking that it is just our fathers, but now we've added our mothers. So, so make sure that you decide what Reconstructionists believe that the mothers have to be added. So they do have La'avotenu Ve'imotenu. Okay. And this is the second blessing. And the third blessing, we only say it on the first day.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehecheyanu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh.
All right, any questions about the blessings? I think, wait, let me see. Hanukkah, Ner Shel Hanukkah. Yes. Hanukkah is actually the only holiday when we say Hanukkah. Because I think the other holidays, which is Rosh Hashanah, Sukkot, or the other holidays, or Passover when we light candles, these are, so Hanukkah was a holiday that was added later on, right? It's a historical holiday. And the lighting of the candles, it has to be specific because it reminds us of the miracle, and that's why they made it specific for Hanukkah. And not just a good day, but it is for Hanukkah.
I have a very stupid question, but I'm going to ask it. So are you praying while you are lighting the candle? So you have to be multitask because you pray and you light the candles, or you light the candles, you pray after, or you pray and you light the candles?
I normally, okay, I never actually thought about like, I never actually read into figuring out what's the right way or the correct way. What I normally do is I say the blessing and then I light the candles. So I do not know, but I don't know if that's the correct way or right way. I need to ask Rabbi Sasso about it. I don't know. I don't know what's the correct way.
Okay.
You're supposed to light them as you're saying it, or I think maybe, I don't know. I never really thought about it.
Well, it's the same. It's the same. For Shabbat. Do you actually light the candle and pray afterwards, or
Say the blessing and then light? Well, the way, think about it. You always, let's say you say the blessing for the challah,
for the bread?
Right? So I think it's kind of like the same concept to me. You say the blessing and then you enjoy it or you do it. So you say the blessing for the wine and then you drink the wine.
Right.
So.
Okay. Well, I'm saying that because when you're alone, you ought to do both together. And so like when you are in company, maybe one is doing the lightning and the other one is anyway, or you sing along or you read along, or seems a bit pragmatic, but yeah. Okay. Thank you, Dina.
And by the way, my answer doesn't mean it's the correct answer, it's the correct way.
No, but you are witnessing how you're doing it. So at least we have an idea that we could do that, at least.
Yeah, that's just, but I actually didn't think about like what I did.
Sorry to ask questions.
You do things so automatically, you don't think about them.
I know. At this point, you do it automatically. It's belong to a tradition, and so you don't really think about it. But when we want to do it, then we ask ourselves, because sometimes, it's cumbersome. Okay, should I read my book? What do I do now?
Right. But I think that when you light them from left to right.
Yeah, from left to right. Yeah. Thank you.
All right. So are we ready for reading? Okay. Go there. Okay, so we started actually last time we talked about these letters, and let me just share my screen. And I think we went over the kaf, chaf, the final chaf, and I said that there are two ways for the final chaf to show up. And these are the two ways. Let me just make it larger. It will be either with the cha or the cha. Okay, what is another letter that sounds like the chaf? What is another letter? Oh, we haven't learned that yet. Okay, so we haven't. Sorry. So we have the chaf and the kaf. It's in the next lesson. Okay, so the words here that we have, this is kippah.
Yeah.
Okay. Does anybody know what this word is? The vowel is on top here, so it is an O vowel. This would be kotel. Kotel is the wall or the western wall. Kotel.
Okay.
And then the last one is what? Can anybody try and read it for the picture?
Is it Varpas?
Kapas. And kapas is actually celery or parsley. It's this kind of vegetable. We use it for the holiday of Passover to dip it in salt water. The kapas itself, this vegetable represents spring because Passover is during spring. And we dip it in salt water to represent the tears, of slavery and all of that, and the suffering. So that's kapas. Okay, did we go over these letters last time? Did we go over it? Did we read it? Unless somebody, did anybody read it? Okay. If not, we'll start with Martine. Can you read line 1?
Ka, K, Ki,
No,
Ku.
that's K.
Yeah, K. Ki. No, pardon. K, Ku, Ki, K, K, Ka, K.
Okay, very good. And what is the fourth one in line 1? The fourth one is what?
It's a Kai.
No, with this vowel right here.
That's a who. That's a who.
This one right here.
So it's a ho, a ko.
Oh, very good. It's
Oh.
ko. Ko. It's O. So the vowel O looks like this, ko, right?
Yeah.
And it also can be represented in a dot. So if you ask me why, there is a difference. There are times that we have to use the ko this way, and there are times that we have to use it this way. There are rules, they're called vocalization rules, but it's just too complicated to go over it and understand why. It has to do with the syllables and so on and so forth. Okay. Line 2, Philip.
Ketel?
Okay. Take your time.
Oh, sorry, I forgot the last consonant. Keted.
Keter. No, it's a resh.
Keted. Oh, it's a resh. Sorry, I thought it was a dalet. Sorry. So
Oh, so the difference is, and I know it's a very, very slight difference. The ratio is more round here. You see that? It's more round.
yeah, the third one is a dalet. Yeah.
Right. You see there's a little bit over here.
Okay, so second would be so kata. Second one would be da
No, ka.
ka. Oh, sorry. Kasher.
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 Okay, do you know what kasher mean? I know we know what kosher is when we're talking about food, whatever we say kosher, so we know kasher is kosher. But do you know what the actual meaning? I mean, like, how do we translate it? It means proper and fit.
Yes, that's what I was going to proper fit.
Mhm.
Second one would be key. Kited. No,
Fit.
kivet.
Uh-huh.
Kivet. Katal.
Very good.
Kalat. Kala.
Okay, so the three dots over here, the three dots,
Mhm.
the sound is
key.
what? Eh.
A. Yep. So kelet.
Uh-huh.
Ka. Ka. That's a dollar at the end.
That's a vet.
Yes, is a vet. Kavod. Kavod.
Uh-huh.
Kavod.
Courtney, number 3.
Kol,
Very good.
Kov. How do you say the ion at the end? If it's at the end, is it just like the sound?
If there is no vowel, it's silent. There's
Okay.
no vowel here. Good question. Yeah.
So Kov,
Kova.
Kova,
Uh-huh.
Ken, Kala,
Very good.
and then the double dot makes it silent.
It's
Is
kind
that
eh.
eh? M-O?
Emo.
Okay. Kotevat,
Right.
vet, Ko,
Because it's eh. All right, Carolyn, number 4.
Kara,
Mhm.
Karesh, Karish, Karom,
Very good.
Keneken,
Okay, so now this would be silent here. So that would be
Kenken,
very good.
Beka, and Bamar, Kamar.
And that's Bika. It's a B.
I'm sorry, which one?
Right here, this word right here.
Oh, it's Beka. And then Kamar.
Okay, very good. All right, and Jim, number 5.
Okay. See, Kalal.
Huh?
Let's see, Kalali.
Huh?
Okay. Let's see, Kala.
Very good.
Okay. Let's see, Khalil.
Very good.
See, Koteret.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
All right. All right, so we're going to look at, so we have ka and cha, and the difference is the dot, right? So if it has a dot, it's ka. If it doesn't have a dot, it's cha, right? So Martine, line 1.
Okay. Car,
Mhm.
can, cat, cat,
Okay.
camère.
No, what is that?
Non,
What-
pardon. Maquet,
Wait, it's the fifth
non,
one.
maca,
Machar. Because it's cha.
macha.
Uh-huh.
Okay, macha, okay. Latin,
That's a cha.
so
La,
la reine,
very good. Lachen.
la reine, la reine, non, la raide,
La chad.
la rade, it's yeah, la rade, harem, raka, qui,
Very good. Okay. Carolyn, number 2.
Vehe,
Okay, so the vowel is
Vechat, Hahi,
good.
Lehi, Kaha,
Very good.
Shahav, Kara,
Good.
Mohair, Kohav,
Very good.
Kevar.
Awesome. Awesome.
Thanks.
All right, so now here we're talking about the final chaf. We learned the final nun and the final mem. The final chaf will appear in 2 ways, the cha and the cha. So you just need to remember that this will be lech. It's lech. And this one right here in number 7 is lecha. That's the difference. Okay, lech and lecha. Now, normally, I mean, not always, but in most cases, the cha at the end and the cha at the end. So let me talk about the cha, because you in the prayer v'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha. And the cha at the end means you or your, okay? In that case would be, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might, right? The cha. Now, the cha at the end is for feminine form, okay? So it will also be you or your, but it's just feminine. That's a difference. Okay, so if I say, for example, And it is important to know that. It's important to know because it's good for you to know that the cha at the end means you or your, okay? Not always, but in a lot of cases, because when you're going to read a prayer and you may not understand everything, at least you may know the suffix, what the suffix means, okay? So when I ask in Hebrew, ma, there's my question mark. Ma shmech. Ma shmech. I'm asking what's your name, but I will only ask a girl or a woman, ma shmech. So I would ask Martine, ma shmech. I would ask Caroline, ma shmech. I would ask Emily, ma shmech, okay? When I ask a boy or a man, I would ask ma shim. So how would I pronounce it at the end?
Ha.
Ha, exactly, ma shimcha. What's your name for? So Philip, ma shimcha. Jim, ma shimcha. See the difference? So this in again, in English, I just ask what's your name. It doesn't matter. In Hebrew, there is a difference. This is feminine and this is masculine. Now, remember, we did talk about it, I think, last time, that a lot of our prayers are masculine, right? Hebrew is mainly a masculine kind of language. So when we say, and you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your mind, it's masculine form. Obviously, it doesn't mean that women should not be doing that, right? Does it make sense? So, all right, let's go back. Can you all see my screen? Can you all see what I'm doing here? Okay. And if I go back here, can you see the writing here or not? The lines, did I go back? Yeah, okay. Okay, in this case over here, actually in this words, lech, kach, it doesn't mean you or your. Lecha, becha, this does mean to you, in you, and so on and so forth. But these few ones, it doesn't really mean that. Okay, let's see. Courtney, read line 5.
We're still seeing
Oh,
your
yeah.
like Word document page.
All right, thank you. Yeah. Okay, so read line 5.
Chachad? No, I an issue with saying this
Actually,
particular.
you know what? I understand. Sorry, I apologize. I do need to pronounce it because it is very, very difficult. It's not part of the, the sound in English. So it will be, so if I read 4, it will be lech, kach, bach, eich, toch. Line 5, hach, rach, lach, derech, berech. Okay.
Will you say the last 2 in line 5 just again real quick?
Derech, berech. So it's ch. Now, if I read line 7, I'm going to read, actually, let me read line 6. So in line 6, I have 2, the 2 of them, the ch and the cha at the end. So line 6 will be be, toch, o, dech, a, rach, me, lech, shelach, shelcha, sorry, shelcha, Shelcha. Here I say the cha at the end. Mimcha. Nercha. Sheberach. Okay. So do you want to try line 6? Courtney, do you want to try 6?
It's going to be a hot mess, but yes, let's do it. Batocha.
Betoch, betoch.
I really want to just like mush those together.
It's okay. I know it doesn't exist in, by the way, yeah, it doesn't exist in English. The cha doesn't exist. And actually, even when we, and that's wrong, that's really wrong. When we put the sound, when we try to translate the sound, we put the CH. That's what some people call Hanukkah, Chanukah, right? Because they see the CH, right? It's wrong. Okay.
The second one in number 6. Odecha.
Odech.
Odech.
Uh-huh.
Arad. I can't.
Arach. It's okay.
That sound does not want to come out of my mouth.
Arach. I mean, good job trying. I mean, really. Arach.
Melecha.
Melech.
I still want to make it an ah sound on the end of it. I can't like fix
Okay.
that when it comes out of my mouth.
Melech. Okay, so go back to line 5. Let's do 5 first, because 5 is only the cha. Let's do 5.
Hachich. I can't. I'm struggling hardcore.
Ha.
Say it one more time.
Ha.
Hach.
Uh-huh.
Rach.
Very good.
Lach.
Very good.
Derach. Derach.
Derech. Yeah, but that's good.
Berach.
Okay. Berech. It's the e. But you got it. But you got this. You got this.
Sure. Close.
Very good. Okay, line 6. Martine, you want to try 6?
I can try. Betach,
The
betoch,
Uh-huh.
odech,
Mhm.
achach,
Mhm.
melech,
Mhm.
shecha,
Uh-huh.
no,
So this would be silent. Very good.
shelcha,
Uh-huh. Very good.
mimcha, necha,
Very good.
shebecha,
Sheberach. Okay.
shebecha.
Okay. 7. Let me
Pardon, this sound, cha, it's that's very similar to other language like Spanish and French and Arabic.
Arabic, yeah. Arabic is a Semitic language. Arabic, Persian, these are Semitic languages.
Right. But we also have the jota in Spanish.
Uh-huh.
Do we have this at the same?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
okay.
also, actually, the R in French, the R is more glottal and the same.
Right. So the French, the Spanish, the Arabic, they have this sound. Okay.
Right. So I'm going to read 7 and then Philip, you'll read 7. I just want you to hear that. Lecha, becha, shimcha, because this will be silent, shimcha. Beitecha, or cha, this is silent. Kamocha. In here, this will be a short e. I mean, right here, this one right here. But this one is silent. Devarcha and amecha. Okay, so Philip, you want to try?
Lecha, becha, shimcha,
Okay, very good.
the yod. So bech,
So what did we say this combination of the e and the yud here?
a, the yod,
Uh-huh.
be, techa.
Very good.
Oh. So, rocha or orcha.
Uh-huh.
Orcha. Okay. Bimocha.
No, what is this one?
Oh, ba,
Ka. It's a ka.
bamocha.
No, it's kamocha.
Sorry. It's a
Yeah.
yeah. Kamocha. I'm trying to remember. It's a dalet, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so de beam
Devar.
devarcha.
Huh?
Devarcha.
Devarcha. Very good.
Devarcha. Amecha.
Okay, very good. All right, let's practice maybe one more and I'll say it and then you guys, and then maybe Jim will read that. Le, vav, cha. This is silent. Le, vav, cha. Torah, te, cha. Me, that's a short e. Me, varech, halach, tahalich, malach. So this would be silent here. Malach. Amcha. Silent. Okay, so Jim, go ahead and try that. 8.
Okay. Also, I want to add that Celtic languages also have this sound. So
Okay.
Welsh does. Okay, so okay, now I'm having trouble reading because of your markings.
Okay, let me
Let
just
read off my page. It's okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. The levavcha. Torah techa. Mavarecha.
Nevarech.
Mavarech. See, halech.
So this would be what?
Oh, halech.
Halach.
Oh, halach. Very good. Halach. Tahalich.
Okay, very good.
Malach.
Mhm.
Malach and amcha.
Okay, very good.
Amcha.
All right, actually, a lot of you are kind of, you're ready now to read the Behafta, because remember in the Behafta, there's lots of ha, a lot of it. If we go back and we take a look at it, so you're all ready for it. Now let's look at the Yud. The Yud is like a Y, the sound of Y. if it has the vowel, like here it will be ya and ya, okay? You remember that we learned that, for example, in this combination, the yud with the e, then the yud is silent, right? We learned that the yud is silent in that case. Okay. All right, so please read line 1. Carolyn, can you read line 1?
Ya, ya, yeah, yeah, yo, ye, yeah, ya, yum, yad.
Okay, very good. And Courtney, line 2.
Yash. Yom.
Mhm.
Miyad. Yad.
Very good.
Yona.
Mhm.
Yilad. Yilad.
So the vowel is what in here?
Eh.
So it'll be what?
Yel.
Yeah.
Yel. I can't like put those words together. Hold on.
So if you did the yeah, now just focus on this one.
Leda. Yelada.
Yeled.
Yelid.
Uh-huh.
Bayit.
Okay, very good. All right. Number 3. Let's see. Philip.
Yamar.
That's an ayin. So it's just a
Ya. Ya'ar.
huh?
Ya'ar. Okay. Ya. Is it a kof or is it a bet? I'm trying to remember.
Bet.
It's a bet. Okay. Ya. Yabasha.
Very good.
Yal. Yalda. Yach. Yahi. Yaher.
Yeah, here. Yeah, here.
Yahir. Okay.
Uh-huh.
It's silent. Lala.
Okay. Yelala. Yelala.
Oh, Yelela. Okay.
And Martine 4.
Yamin. Yabeshet.
Good.
Yadicha.
Uh-huh.
Yabel. Oh, yeah. It's at the B. Yeah, it's a B, right?
It's your bell. Uh-huh.
So Yobel. Yom Tov.
Okay, so remember I told you at the end of a blessing, Yom Tov, good day,
Good
holiday,
day. Uh-huh.
and Yom Tov.
Mhm. Yom
Okay.
Tov.
And Jim, number 5.
Let's see, Vahaya,
Uh-huh.
Yet, let's see, Yet Varach,
Mhm.
let's see, Yaya, let's see, Yeshav, or Yeshav,
Ishan.
Yeshav. Let's let's see, is that silent or
No, it's-
or
yeah.
short? Okay. Okay. Yadaver,
Mhm.
Yadaver, and Yoshma.
Ishma, okay. Now, I do want to go over these words. Yad is hand, but also I want you to know that, you know, when we read the Torah and we use the Torah pointer, that thing here, it's also called Yad.
Yad.
And then we have the city of peace that we call it what?
Yerushalayim.
Yerushalayim.
Jerusalem is Jerusalem. And the
Yerushalayim.
country is
Israel.
Israel.
Yeah, Israel.
Israel.
Okay, so, all right, now let's take a look at the vowel right here. This is the vowel U. It looks like this. This is one way, and this is another way of the vowel U. Again, just like we have two ways to show O, you know, with the dot on top and or with a dot on top of the vav, we have two ways to express the U. There is this way and this way. This one is more common. You would see this a lot more than this. This is more rare, and people tend to forget that this is the sound U because we do not see it a lot. Okay. So remember when I showed you last week the word Hanukkah, and I showed you the right way to write it. I mean, the correct way to write it and the incorrect, but we still write the incorrect way. Remember that when I told you about Hanukkah? You want me to write it again, or are you good? Okay, let me write it again so that you'll know what I'm referring to. So let me just share my screen.
Hanukkah.
So Hanukkah, the correct way to write Hanukkah would be like this. This is Chet, and we're about to learn this letter. Chet, Ha. This is the correct way. Ha, Nu, with the three dots. Ha, Nu, Ka. This is the correct way.
Hanukkah.
Okay, but you will also see it written like this: Ha, Nu, Ka,
Hanukkah. Ha.
with the U. You see the difference?
Mhm.
Okay. The reason why sometimes you would see it this way and not this way is because, remember, in Hebrew we write without vowels.
Mhm.
And to make it easier for people to read it without vowels, because this is how it is written without vowels. So we just add the U like that, Hanukkah. And then people know right away that it's Hanukkah.
Okay.
Okay, when you learn how to read and write Hebrew, when you're in first grade, you learn with vowels. I don't know if it's changed. I think 6 months into first grade, we remove the vowels and then we read and write without vowels. It is said that we're in a way very literate people because we do not read words, we read context.
Okay.
Okay. So let me tell you what I mean by that so that you can understand what I'm talking about. So next week, we are going to learn the letter Sefer. So let me actually just, I am not sharing my screen, right?
Ugh.
Okay, this is the word Sefer. You see that?
Oh, yeah, Sefer. Sefer.
Okay. So the word Sefer means book.
Mhm.
Okay. Now we're taking the same letters. This would be Safar, which means count. Then we have Siper, which means told a story.
Sefer.
Then we have Siper, the same one, cut for a haircut. Okay.
Sefer.
So we have Safar, which is count. Siper told the story of Kater, and we have Sefer, which is book. Now, if I remove the vowels, how do you know which one am I talking about? Which one is it? Am I saying Siper? Am I saying Safar? Am I saying Sefer? What is it that I'm talking about?
We
So
don't
you-
know. We have to have a context.
Yes, you need to read the entire sentence to know if you have to say Sefer, Safar, Siper. You need to understand the context of the sentence to be able to use the vowels. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, what does that mean? That you when you see a sentence with no verb marked, then you have to read the sentence in your mind with your eyes, then you can pronounce it.
Exactly. That's really what it means. And that's why I say that we do not read words, we read context.
Okay.
Because in English, when you put a word, it's a word, right? It's a word. If I put the word book, okay, so let me compare it to English, right? If I'm putting the word book, okay, you must have the vowels, right? You cannot read the word book. Wait, where am I going here? Okay, so you can see what I'm doing here. If I write the word book, you have to see those vowels, right? The word book. The moment I remove the vowels, what would you know what BK stands for? We don't know. So you have to read the context to understand that BK stands for a book and nothing else.
Mhm.
So for Hanukkah, to help us out, we just added the U, but in actuality, this is the correct way to write Hanukkah. Now, that's why Israelis, because we do not know always all the rules of vocalization, because there are many, many rules, and we're supposed to read correctly. So one time, actually, the cantor is not here, but she was looking at something biblical in the Torah, and she read it correctly. She knew how to read correctly. She came to me, she said, how do I read that? And I told her what I thought, and then I was wrong, because I don't always remember all the rules of vocalization. Does it make sense?
Mhm.
And it's a lot of training to know that. It takes a lot of training. And remember, the Torah has no vowels whatsoever, none.
Right. Mhm.
Okay, so
The
that's what,
Torah has no vowels,
no
But-
vowels.
but the prayers, in the prayer books, you have the vowels.
Yeah,
Yes, in the prayer book, you do have the vowels, and when you read the Haftarah from the book of prophets, there are vowels, but the actual Torah, the scroll, has no vowels.
And then on everyday basis, you have no vowels in Israel for anything.
And newspaper have no vowels. The books in Israel, they have no vowels,
And the newspapers and all that, no vowels.
no vowels.
Okay, so how do you all manage to train all those newcomers when they arrive with many different languages, the rush to this little country, Israel, and they have to learn to read and write and speak the language? How that works? It's a miracle.
Right, it's very, very difficult. So to read Hebrew, if you think about it, to learn like what you're doing now, it's really when you have the vowels, Hebrew is phonetics, right? You have the sound, you have the consonant and the vowel, and you put it together, and ba is ba. So it's easy. So to learn with vowels is not difficult. When you remove the vowels, then you have to understand the meaning. You don't just read to be reading phonetically. You read to find the meaning. Now, the prayer book is easy, and that's why, if you think about it, everybody all over the world, it doesn't matter where you're from, whether you are from France, whether you are from Egypt, whether you are from Poland, all Jews all over the world read the prayer books the same way. And the reason why they can do it is because it has the vowels. Everybody does. Nobody has trouble reading from the prayer book. right? Correct. I mean, really, if you think about it, it's amazing. It's amazing that you can go to any synagogue in any part of the world and you'll be able to read Hebrew, though you will have no problem when it has the vowels. Now you go to Israel and you want to read the newspaper or you want to read a book, then it's a different story. Because then you have to understand the language to be able to do it.
I am amazed, Dina. This is one thing I just learned today through you, by you. But I'm thinking, I wonder how they can really apply Hebrew in the country Israel with all this multinational cultural and linguistic community in being efficient. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yes. And by the way, Hebrew was a dead language. Spoken language for 2,000 years. Nobody spoke Hebrew, and then they revived it. So, but it existed in our, in our textbooks, right? In the prayer books, in the Torah, in all of that. People kept it alive that way. Whereas you see, like, let's say, Ladino, for example, which was used by Jews, right? Spanish Jews, they do not speak it anymore. And it's still a language that they use sometimes for reading, but nobody speaks Ladino anymore. And
it's the same with Yiddish. I mean, we have less and less people speaking Yiddish.
Right, less and less, right.
Yeah. So a surprising number of people still speak Yiddish, though. I mean, millions worldwide. So.
There are more people who speak Yiddish than Ladino. Ladino is literally kind of like dead in a way, almost dead, completely dead. Ladino. And something else that you need to know, and I don't know if you know that, the Jews always had their own dialect. Whichever country they lived in, they had their own dialect of speaking. So let's say when they spoke Arabic, or when they spoke French or Portuguese, or when they were in Yemen, they always had their own dialect to something different than they spoke. So it's interesting that we created something else. If you think about it, while we lived in all of these countries, we created something else that was different. And it's interesting, like when I read about history of Jews from all over the world, there's so many similarities in a way in how we, I'm talking about our studying and learning is kind of similar, because why would we all create another language? It's very interesting, don't you think? I mean, like.
Oh, yes, it is, Dina. A last question for you, Dina. How much would you say that when we choose to take the old Hebrew to implement that for the new nation, that when they decided to do as such for the nation would be speaking Hebrew, how much more different, or not different, but how much modern words, modern everything was integrated to the old Hebrew? To be able to function with that new Hebrew.
Okay, so the way I can equate it is think about English, Shakespearean English and the English of today.
Okay.
When you read, let's say, English, Old English, like in Shakespeare, some of it you understand, some of it you know. We do not use thee or thou, anymore in English. We just don't use that. The same thing happened in Hebrew. The same thing. So there are some biblical Hebrew that is part of the mainstream Hebrew or the conversational Hebrew that we use today, but a lot of it is not. Just like how, Israelis have to study the Bible to understand some of the things that, if I look at the Bible myself, I need to read it a few times sometimes to understand what's in the Bible. And I do need to look at the interpretations of, like, let's say, Rashi or somebody else to understand what's in the Bible, because it is biblical Hebrew and I don't understand it. It's just like you have to, when you read Shakespeare, somebody has to explain to you, or you have to look at what it means in somewhere else to understand it. It's very similar. Now,
did they develop new words in Hebrew, or did they really take words from other languages and incorporate it, or both?
Both.
Both.
For example, I'll tell you something that happened. So when the telephone was invented, we came up with a word that said sach-rachok for telephone, which means kind of like long distance. That's what the telephone. It was not, it never was, it couldn't be part of the mainstream Hebrew. People did not gravitate to that word.
Mhm.
They found that the word telephone was easier for them to use. And by the way, telephone is not a Hebrew word, right?
No, it's Latin.
Telephone, we use the same word, telephone. So
Okay.
they had to make some adjustments for things that did work or things that didn't work. And Hebrew is still an evolving language. It's still evolving, but in a way, Hebrew doesn't have as many words as English. It's a very economical, like I told you, it doesn't have a lot of words. We are expanding. Like now I listen to like my sisters, or I listen to comedy, or I listen to stuff, and I'm like, I do not know half of these words, like because I didn't grow up with them. I have to learn just like because it's new Hebrew, it's developing. But the same thing happens in English and all languages.
All languages are evoluting.
that. I
They are
listen
not static. No, they are not static. Yeah. Mhm.
Half of the words that my son, not half, I'm exaggerating, but a lot of the words that my son uses today, I'm like, what are you saying? What does this mean?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, 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 that we understand. Yeah. Wow, this is interesting. Thank you, Dina. Really, you gave us a lot of hints today to think about, you know.
Thank
And,
you. I appreciate it.
pardon?
Thank you. I appreciate it. I
No,
appreciate it.
no. It's important. I mean, that belongs to learning a new language and the culture to it.
It's
Thank
true.
you.
Culture is very important to understanding a language.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. 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 Thank you so much.
No problem. Okay,
Happy Hanukkah. Then we, yeah, pardon.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. I didn't want to cut you off.
No, Hanukkah is next week, and are we going to have a class?
No, we're not, we do not have a class next Sunday, but we will have one in 2 weeks.
Okay. Okay.
So really, I think that somebody had their hands up and I couldn't respond at that time. Who was it? Either Courtney or Caroline. I don't remember.
It was me, Courtney. I just wanted to offer, I got an early Hanukkah present of flashcards, and I kind of wanted to show them for just a second if anybody would find them helpful.
Okay,
Um,
let me make you a co-host so that you can. Oh, you're
I can just show them on my camera. They're out of focus a little bit, but they're fun little flashcards that have all the letters, plus like they have a cheat sheet for, I'm trying to get that in focus, but a cheat sheet for all the vowels. It's from torahtools.com. And I found them really helpful, so I didn't know if anybody else would find them useful. But I just wanted to share that if anybody, they've helped me a lot in the last week or so.
Also, since we are sharing good tips, yesterday one of my former students showed me on Instagram, there is a page called My Learning Hebrew. And it is absolutely great. You have words and then the way to pronounce, I mean, it's written in Hebrew, you have the way to pronounce it and the meaning of it. And it's really, I downloaded the Instagram app last night and it showed me that. And I was like, big gift for Hanukkah. It's free and it's through Instagram.
all right. Okay, great. Okay, so I'm sorry that our time is up. I wish we could have more time together. And I will see you in 2 weeks. So first of all, happy Thanksgiving and happy Hanukkah, everybody.
Thanks. Yeah, same to you.
Thank you.
I tell you that when we're talking about Turkey, right? Turkey, that they're saying that, what's his name? Columbus had a translator who was Jewish. And he referred to the turkey as tuki. Tuki means parrot in Hebrew. And he thought that the turkey was a parrot. And he said tuki, 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 but it's actually turned into turkey in English. I just want you to know that too. Okay, all right. Bye, everybody. See you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Everybody. Shalom.